Father should have been one of the dearest words in the world, but for Giselle, it was just a cold title. She walked over and answered the phone. "Giselle, transfer 2 million to my account," said Callum Sherwood, his voice low and cold. Giselle tightened her grip on the phone. "Did you call me just for money, Dad?" Callum sounded impatient. "It's only natural for a daughter to give money to her father. If it weren't for you managing the Sherwood family, do you think I would ask you for money? If you don't want to give me money, then transfer the shares of the Sherwood family to me." Giselle pondered the word daughter. She was surprised that her father remembered that she was his daughter, not just an emotionless cash machine. He remembered she was his daughter, but why didn't he care about her? She didn't expect Callum to be good to her, she just wanted him to ask her a few ordinary questions, like, "How's your life?" or "How's your health?" or "How's your work?" She was actually quite easy to please, just a little bit of attention was enough. "Are you listening?" Callum reprimanded through the phone. Giselle suppressed her emotions. "Didn't I transfer 1 million to you last week? It's only been a few days, and you've already used it all up. What can you do with that little money?" Callum was a bit guilty. But when he thought that Giselle was in charge of such a large company, sometimes making hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, he regained his confidence. "Transfer the money quickly, or I will go straight to your company to ask for it. Don't blame me if I make a scene. Giving you the money won't be a problem, but you have to tell me what you're using it for." 2 million was not a small amount, after all. Seeing Giselle concede, Callum's tone also softened. "I've found an investment project recently, and I only need 2 million. I'll pay you back as soon as I make money." "Investment project?" Giselle furrowed her brows and listened to Callum's words, but if he really had such business acumen, her grandfather wouldn't have handed over Sherwood to her. "Just transfer the money over, I need it urgently." "I can give you the money, but you have to send me the information on the investment project for me to review." Which dad would let his daughter boss him around like this? Callum felt embarrassed and cursed at his phone, calling Giselle a waste of money and that she should have been aborted. After a few harsh words and some pretending, he used a mix of positive and negative reinforcement. Giselle was no stranger to these tactics and simply replied blandly, "Is there anything else you want to say? I'm busy here, if not, I'm hanging up." "Don't hang up. I'll show you the information." Callum quickly stopped her, afraid that if she changed her mind, the sure thing would be messed. After hanging up the phone, Giselle sat in front of her computer and soon received the file that Callum had sent. She forwarded the file to her assistant to print out a copy and also asked her to brew a cup of coffee for her. As the document was sent over, Giselle looked down and read through it. Until a steaming cup of coffee was brought to her table, she paused. The coffee had a rich aroma. But it was a little too bitter. She used to be someone who liked sweets and hated bitterness. She used to have to take a piece of candy whenever she had to take a pill, but now she had to rely on this bitterness to keep her mind sharp. After taking a sip, Giselle continued to focus on reading the document in her hand. Callum invested in real estate, and it seemed to have a specific plan, certificate, and a seemingly reliable team. Giselle had only read for half an hour when Callum called to urge her for the money. The assistant knocked on the door, and Giselle, who was multitasking, answered the phone while gesturing for the assistant to come in. "Ms. Sherwood, Dr. Thurman is downstairs looking for you." Why was Marcus here? Giselle was taken aback. And she had no time to deal with Callum anymore. She hastily said, "I know," before hanging up the phone directly. "You go and invite him up, and find someone to brew a cup of tea and bring it in." During the time her assistant went to invite Marcus, Giselle transferred 2 million to Callum's account.